to Steve Harvey.
Right.
I got Steve Harvey number in my
Right.
phone. Well,
Right.
why didn't you ask Ricky this? I said, Kat, normally when people are giving you information
Right.
that you've never heard or
Mhm.
no one else has ever spoken, you
Right.
feel that he was in that situation. He's giving you pertinent information. I
Right.
have no reason to believe
Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit and then he gets this high top fade, making all black men think he got the best lineup in the business. And
Shannon Sharpe has been making headlines in 2024, shaking up not only the sports world, but the celebrity scene as well. Ever since his eye-catching interview with Cat Williams went viral, he's become a major topic of conversation in podcasts and interviews. His show has hosted numerous big-name celebrities sharing fascinating stories. But the Williams interview has had its share of highs and lows. Recently, Shannon opened up about the challenges he's faced since that explosive interview during a chat with Cam Newton. He highlighted how things have shifted both positively and negatively, revealing that Cat Williams had warned him about the potential fallout. According to Williams, exposing some industry secrets would lead to pushback, and Shannon is now feeling that impact firsthand. He's noticed that some guests are backing out of scheduled interviews at the last moment, a direct result of the controversy stirred up by his interview. Shannon reflected on the unexpected consequences of his viral moment, saying, "I didn't realize it would cause such a ripple. I didn't think it would move me in this direction. But I'm glad it did. I understand the consequences. But I didn't expect it to affect things like this." Cat said it would put me in another dimension, and that people would come for me. And now that's exactly what's happening. Despite the challenges, Shannon remains determined to push forward. So did Steve Harvey really try to cancel Shannon's podcast? Well, you better stick around because what's coming is seriously mind-blowing.
he and I have a different type of relationship than the other guys.
Right.
But do I talk to Steve Harvey? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have he invited me to his farm in Atlanta?
So first things first, how did everything start between Steve Harvey and Shannon Sharpe? Surprisingly, the two actually sat down for an interview on Club Shay before the Cat Williams interview. This was Shannon Sharpe's most watched interview, racking up around 8 million views. The interview covered a lot of ground, but we'll focus on Steve Harvey's stories about being homeless and his reflections on the kings of comedy. During the interview, Harvey openly shared his past struggles, including living out of his car for 3 years while chasing a career in comedy. He talked about how these tough times fueled his determination to succeed, serving as an inspiration to many viewers and highlighting the importance of resilience and perseverance. Harvey also reflected on the Kings of Comedy tour, sharing behind-the-scenes stories and discussing the chemistry among the comedians. He explained how the tour helped boost their careers and made a lasting impact on comedy. This part of the interview gave a fascinating glimpse into the world of comedy and the strong bond between the kings of comedy. However, things took a turn after the Cat Williams interview. Cat, never want to hold back, had some sharp words about Steve Harvey. He questioned the truth behind Harvey's tales of homelessness and his role in the Kings of Comedy, which sparked a firestorm. Catus, Stevie rewriting his past and stealing stories, which only added fuel to the fire and heightened the tension between Shannon and Steve. The drama didn't stop there. Rumors swirled that Steve and other celebrities might be trying to boycott Club Shay, making things even more intense. This beef wasn't just about a single interview, it revived old conflicts and stirred up new controversies. This isn't the first time Steve Harvey has faced such accusations. Even comedian Cat Williams revealed that Steve supposedly had a hand in sidelining his own brother during the Kings of Comedy tour. Let's rewind to the early 2000s, when Harvey teamed up with Dale Hughley, Cedric the Entertainer, and Bernie Mac to create the legendary Kings of Comedy. They were a comedy powerhouse, breaking records and raking in cash. However, whispers of jealousy surfaced, hinting that Harvey might have been envious of Bernie Mac's distinct style. Their backstage tension wasn't just idle chatter. It even led to the Kings of Comedy tour coming to a halt. By 2003, Bernie Mac dropped some serious revelations during an interview with GQ magazine, accusing Harvey of being envious and sabotaging his movie roles. Steve Harvey, hurt by these accusations, responded in a 2010 interview, but many fans weren't completely convinced by his side of the story. And just recently, activist Essie Berry has made some serious accusations against Steve Harvey, which may tarnish his previously spotless image. While Steve Harvey has indeed made a name for himself in Hollywood as actor, producer, and writer, his rise to fame wasn't without its bumps. His journey has been marked by various controversies, from being criticized as a less than stellar host to allegations of mistreatment towards his former wife and children. This raises a question if Steve Harvey is truly the epitome of family values. Why has he been married multiple times? Take his second marriage to Mary Shackelford. For instance, their relationship was anything but smooth. They had a son named Winton. But by 2005, their marriage had a rough patch and ended in a messy divorce. Mary claimed that Steve moved on too quickly to his current wife Marjorie Harvey after their split. Mary alleged that Steve had an affair with Marjorie, and although Steve denied these claims, the timeline of his quick remarriage to Marjorie raised questions and gave weight to the cheating rumors. The drama didn't end there. Mary accused Steve of not only cheating, but also mistreating their son. She alleged that after their separation, she found bruises on Winton's face, which led her to file a $60 million lawsuit against Steve, including serious charges like child endangerment, mistreatment, conspiracy, and emotional distress. While Steve managed to get a court order against Mary, the court also imposed a gag order on her, leading to speculation about why such secrecy was needed. Steve Harvey's trouble extend beyond his personal life into the comedy world. Comedian Mark Curry has accused Steve of stealing his material for his own shows, causing a stir in the comedy community. This isn't a new feud. Mark had previously criticized Steve for allegedly using his jokes during Harvey's NBC talk show.
What's up with you and Steve, man?
Ain't nothing with me. Well, Steve stole my material on his show, so I had a beef on that.
There's even persistent whispers that Steve Harvey might have a habit of borrowing jokes a bit too freely from his fellow comedians. Some speculate that this tendency might have strained his relationship with Samuel L. Jackson, who might not be the biggest fan of Steve due to these alleged transgressions. The plot thick. When you hear Mark Curry's side of the story, Mark has openly accused Steve of swiping his jokes and using them on his own shows. According to Mark, he's already confronted Steve about this issue more than once. But the alleged joke theft didn't stop. The tension between them reached a new level when Mark described a particularly frustrating incident at a Halloween show where Steve supposedly performed Mark's entire Halloween routine as if it were his own. Mark's frustration is palpable. He expressed his disappointment over the situation, questioning why someone as successful as Steve Harvey, who's already made a considerable fortune, would feel the need to use material that wasn't his own. However, things only heated up significantly between Steve Harvey and Mark Curry. Steve didn't just deny the accusations, he challenged Mark to provide specific examples of the allegedly stolen jokes. He did mince words, telling Mark to get a life and a career of his own. Steve even went on a passionate rant asserting that he hadn't stolen a joke in 35 years. But Mark wasn't just blowing smoke, he came armed with evidence to support his claims, raising the stakes in this comedic clash. The drama didn't end there. Other comedians like Cat Williams jumped into the fray, backing Mark's side. He's accused Steve of not only stealing jokes, but also cozying up to Hollywood elites, and even pilfering show ideas. Cat has spilled the beans on their long-standing feud, suggesting that Steve was envious of Bernie Mac, and even tried to sabotage his movie roles. According to Cat, Steve's success with his sitcom and Hollywood ventures was all about overshadowing Bernie Mac. Cat also took a swing at Steve's marital history, alleging that Steve has played fast and loose with the truth about which wife was instrumental in his success. Cat accused Steve of downplaying one wife's contribution while promoting another, adding fuel to the fire about Steve's credibility and stirring up drama about his personal life.
They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man.
Now, if you've been wondering why Cat Williams seems to have a long-standing grudge against Steve Harvey, the roots of their conflict trace back to an explosive event in December 2008. Let's take a trip down memory lane to understand how their feud began and evolved into the ongoing drama it is today. In December 2008, Cat Williams made headlines by openly criticizing Steve Harvey right before a major Christmas season show. This was no small spat. It was a bold move that set off a chain reaction. At the time, both Cat and Steve were big names in comedy, and Cat's decision to call out Steve publicly was like throwing a lit match into a barrel of fireworks. This moment marked the beginning of what would become a decade-long conflict between the two comedians. The origins of this feud can be traced to a daring challenge that Cat Williams issued to Steve Harvey. Cat confidently claimed that he could outshine Steve and claim the title of the King of Comedy. This challenge wasn't just casual talk. It came right before a major New Year's Eve show where both comedians were headlining. It was like setting up a grand stage for a comedic showdown that would capture the audience's attention and stir up rivalry. As if the situation wasn't already heated enough, Jamie Foxx stepped into the fray. At the time, Jimmy was a popular radio host and played a clip of Cat Williams dissing Steve Harvey on air.